What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So we're going to do a stimulus package update. So we're going to talk about Nancy Pelosi. She actually put out a message to the airline industry. We're going to talk about COVID-19, some more COVID-19 positive cases coming out of the White House. We're also going to talk about new polls. So we have some new polls out now, so we can kind of look at that and see how that will play when it comes to the next stimulus package. And then we're going to talk about New York. So New York just announced, this is like 30 minutes ago, they announced that they will be closing some schools. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please hit that like button. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime I put out a video. So one more thing I want to talk about is, remember, in November, I do have another channel, and I'm going to start putting some content on that channel starting today. So there'll be some videos on there today, and it's going to be focused on the election as well as the COVID-19 situation in the White House. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that. I'll show more videos and things like that. So that will be the discussion over there. So go over there, subscribe to the channel. There'll be a video out later on today. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first story I want to talk about today is Nancy Pelosi. So Nancy Pelosi had a message to the airline industry, and she talked a little bit about the stimulus package. This was yesterday on Face the Nation. So let's go ahead and take a look.
Judicial appointment.
The president tweeted yesterday that the country needs stimulus. Does that mean that you have come to an agreement or are close to a deal on a COVID relief bill?
No, it means that we want to see that they will agree on what we need to do to crush the virus so that we can open the economy and open our schools
So
safely.
you're no closer than on Friday when that airline
we're making
deal fell
progress. Well, we tried to get that done in the House, but the Republicans objected. But what I said to the airline executives in a public statement is, don't fire the people. You know that relief is on the way. And it will be retroactive. So let's keep them employed, because separate from other industries, when you're let go in the airline industry, it takes months or years to be recertified, reclassified, all of that, security clearances and the rest. Not like if somebody has another kind of a job, they leave, they come back. So that makes a difference. But also,
could that come this week?
It just depends on if they understand what we have to do to crush the virus.
So you heard Nancy Pelosi say basically that help is on the way. So we should see something. That's what she's saying. Now she's in the room, so we have to at least listen to what she's saying. So let's hope that they can come together with the negotiation and work out a deal when it comes down to it. We'll have to see where that goes. She has mentioned that there could be a piecemeal bill that's just for the airline industry, which is kind of interesting because Nancy Pelosi has not been talking about piecemeal bills before. As a matter of fact, she's been against them. So we'll have to see where that goes. But I think we all hope that they can just get a big package together that encompasses everything: stimulus checks and PPP and airline industry and all that. So we'll have to see where that goes. So the next story I want to talk about is more positive cases in the White House for COVID-19. So Kelly McEnany, the White House press secretary, she tested positive, as well as 2 of her aides. So you see, it is definitely getting around the White House, and that should be eye-opening to everyone, just to see how it can spread. So right now we don't know where everyone is getting infected, but we do see these large events. We saw the Supreme Court nomination, that press conference. There were a lot of people there not wearing masks, hugging each other, shaking hands, and taking pictures with each other. So that could have been a super spreader right there. We don't know for a fact, but that could have been a super spreader event. And we know President Trump's been out doing campaigning and going to rallies and things like that. So that could have also been a super spreader, or that could have spread a lot of the virus there. So we're just not sure exactly where it's coming from, but obviously it's in the White House now. And so you have a lot of people who are seeing the effects of COVID-19 firsthand. So it's a crazy time. It is definitely a crazy time when it comes down to it. All right, I want to talk about the polls. So let's go ahead and pull up the polls here, because we have some information here when it comes to the polls. And when you're looking at, and I look at Real Clear Politics, this is what I use, because it will average all the polls. It's not just taking one poll, because a poll can be skewed, right? So it's taking a variety of different polls and giving you the overall number. Okay, so right now Biden is up 8.3 points, and that is up from, he was at 6.6 points before, so he's bumped. Now this is right after the debate, and I don't think any of these polls, so none of these polls are reflecting the positive COVID-19 tests. So none of them are reflecting that. So this is what the number is now. So we could probably expect that that number will increase even more depending on what happens with this whole COVID-19 situation. So that's what we're looking at right there. And you see some of these polls, like this NBC poll that's right up here. You see Biden up plus 14, which is crazy, right? I always like to look at the Rasmussen poll because that usually favors the president the most when it comes to the polls. And you see here, Biden is up plus 8 in the Rasmussen poll. So just something to think about. I mean, we're close to an election. Obviously, things need to get done. We saw the president over the weekend put out a tweet saying that you need to get something done when it comes to the stimulus package. He's desperate at this point, right? There's a lot of stuff that's going against him. And so I think he really wants something to get done, and he wants something to get done like yesterday. So that's good for us because at least he's on board for it. And we all know everyone's on board, but it's just one of those things. Do you agree to this number? Basically is what we're looking at. And I think by the president pressing even harder, maybe we'll have some Republicans that will realize, okay, you know what? Either we're not going to have anything done, which is really going to hurt us, or we're going to get something done, which could help us. So that's the bottom line, how we look at that. Okay, another poll I want to talk about is the YouGov poll that was done with 8,157 adults. And the question was, do you think we will see a stimulus package before the election? And 29% of the people said very unlikely. 25% of the people said somewhat unlikely. 10% of the people said very likely. And 22% of the people said somewhat likely. So you could see the vast majority of the people are saying, we don't think there's going to be another stimulus package before the election. I've been saying this for the last couple of days. I don't know. I mean, you hear Nancy Pelosi saying, yes, we're progressing. And you hear Stephen Mnuchin saying we're progressing. But I really don't see the motivation at this point other than, I mean, you'll see the president is motivated, but I don't think you're going to see Nancy Pelosi being that motivated because it's so close to an election. And realistically, if they wait until after the election, they might have more leverage. And I'm talking about Nancy Pelosi because they could win some numbers in the Senate. They could win the presidency and then have whatever they want when it comes to another stimulus package. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel on that. I'm probably one of the somewhat unlikely category. So the next story I want to talk about is New York. So the governor of New York said that there are 9 hotspots in New York right now. They are closing the schools in those 9 hotspots. That can affect 300 plus schools. So that's just out. That just came out 30 minutes ago. So we'll have to follow that story and see where it goes and see exactly what areas they will be closing schools. And so I think we kind of thought that this was going to happen, right? So you have schools opening up, and anytime people start getting infected, there's going to have to be something that's done, right? They're going to have to quarantine people, which would probably mean you're going to have to shut the schools down. So this is just a crazy situation. We're seeing this coronavirus affect everyone. Now we can officially say it's affecting everyone. Even the most protected people in this country are being affected by it, as well as all the American citizens going to school, going to work, doing all the normal stuff. So we've heard this before: the economy, COVID-19. What's the priority? I still say COVID-19 is our priority. Once we can control COVID-19, then we'll be in a situation where the economy can get back up and running. But until we control COVID-19, we're going to be in a situation like this where you're going to have, just like we saw in the NFL, where you have teams that aren't going to be able to play because people test positive. You have the president testing positive, people in the White House testing positive, people in schools testing positive. It's just shutting down everything. So we need to control that. So we'll have to see what they do with this from this point on. Now that the president has COVID-19, maybe he'll have kind of you know what? Yeah, this is really serious. I need to do something in order to protect everyone, right? So we'll have to see where that goes. The question that I have for you guys today: do you think we will see a stimulus package before the election? And like I said, the way I feel about it is I'm somewhat unlikely that we'll see something before the election, but I want to know what you guys think. So in the comments section, let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.